Okay, 28th, so day 59. So I'm going to do another Reddit read today, and I'm going to start off again just talking about a subject, and then we'll get into the Reddit read. So this here, I'm going to pop it out of its box. Now, I've talked about like not putting together the Catwalk C2 Plus a million times. Last night we started. That's what today's little topic is about, because I still have the Catwalk C2C that's half in the storage and half in downstairs in the garage, because the base was too big to put in the vehicle to take away and too heavy. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. I thought about just keeping it and then having two, and then that way you could do like little battles and stuff. I don't know. I may still do that, but I still have to get another VR headset. I don't know if it's worth it or not. But, who's going to buy it? Especially with the C2 is out and C2 Plus. But anyway, talking about today is, last night as we're trying to put together stuff, it came in multiple boxes. And I think I've talked about it, and I may have shown it. I doubt I did, but my living room is a holy mess. First of all, it's piled high with boxes of all the shit I bought, all the shit from Kickstarter, shit's in closets, shit's in other rooms. Over there at my office, here in my office is a pile that's 5 feet high of boxes I've never opened. Yeah, it's just hard getting to this shit. As a matter of fact, I closed another transaction yesterday. So the moral of this story, it just has to do with people's motivation and getting shit done. And I couldn't, because the shit arrived like back in September. So, I don't remember what came with it. I just know I got a lot of boxes. So this here is the sensor pack for it. I asked my wife to go find the sensor pack, because each time she does the shit that I don't understand, she'll go, "Are you sure you've received it? Are you sure it exists?" But every time when it's all said and done, it's there. It was somewhere. It's just she gave up. I don't know how someone could be wrong 100% of the time. It's like the shit didn't walk up and leave. As a matter of fact, searching for this yesterday, I found other shit that I've asked her to look for that she says she could never find. But I found them yesterday looking for this. And it took me a total of about 5 minutes, and cleaned up a bunch of shit in that 5 minutes. So anyway, I asked her to go look for it, and the pile of boxes just comes back and with excuses. "Oh, I can't find it," or, "This honey others are there." I spent 5 minutes and found this shit. That's it. So let's go do our Reddit read today. Tell me how you guys like the Reddit reads. I did get one positive comment from the one yesterday. So today, it's titled, "Lay Me Off Right Before Christmas, I'll Sabotage Your Replacement for Me." Read a story here about getting revenge on a previous employer, and it reminded me of a shop I worked at. I was an automotive technician for a decade, went to college for a major automotive manufacturer, learned specifically on their models, but it got boring quick. I love reading, so after graduating, I found what I thought would be an awesome job at a local off-road shop. The company had been in business for a long time and was kind of known in my city as the place to go for Jeep and off-road upgrades and repairs. I was initially hired as a shop helper. That's strange. Didn't just graduate from some kind of specialty college. Okay, whatever. With the understanding that I would learn some of the more difficult things like welding, installing gears, and more niche skills. The shop was owned by a very religious man. When I interviewed, he went on and on about his faith, his work through his church with charities and on mission, and how pure he was, having never drank in his life and rarely cursed. The first few months went well, but after a while, I brought up the fact that I did have some knowledge. No shit, you went to college for this shit. And What I didn't want to be was sweeping floors, changing oil, and wasting time. I wanted to further myself as a technician. This is when the owner showed his true colors, verbally berating me in front of the rest of the staff, calling me ungrateful and stupid for thinking I would be any better. So in other words, this guy lied to begin with. He was never planning to do all this stuff and teach you the welding and all this stuff for the Jeep dealership. Okay, it's not a Jeep dealership, but off-road, you know what I'm saying? Being a naive 21-year-old, I put up with it. I stuck around, dumb mistake, and eventually got moved to another part of the shop as a sort of side business. His shop has signed up with the National Interlock Company. Interlock? Interlocks are devices installed in a car when you receive a DUI, also known as a blow and go. Get in, turn on your car, blow into the device, and once it's determined you're sober, it allows you to start the car. I've seen those. Remember that movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin, when the girl gives him the little pipe to blow into, and he's like, "What's this?" "I had a DUI." And, and then she's like drunk as hell, starts the car and drives off. That's what it reminds me of. I did this portion of the business for almost a full year. Pretty simple, installing the units, doing a monthly calibration and downloading the data, and removing the units when the person has completed the terms of their service. Again, makes me wonder, these systems, I think is a good thing, maybe possibly, but what happens when you have a friend blow into the damn thing? Not everybody travels alone. You get drunk as a skunk and then just pass that shit off, just like in 40-Year-Old Virgin. Just before Christmas, me and the other guy who did the installs were called into the office at the end of the day. No sugarcoating. This man looked us dead in the eye and said he was laying us off and discontinuing the relationship with the Interlock Company. We were shocked, especially at how nonchalant and arrogant he was about it. Of course he was. He wasn't losing shit. He told us to pack our things. I think this is a miss. It says pack out things. I don't know, could it be our or out? He told us to pack out things and he'd have our final checks to us by the end of the week. Since I was a technician, I had a full rolling tool chest and tool cart. I never really understood why the technicians have to bring their own shit in. I got to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for that stuff. You're going to work for somebody and you got to bring your own tools. It don't make any sense to me. I was asked if I could have a few days to pick up a trail. I asked if I could have a few days to pick up a trailer to get my tools out, which he was surprisingly fine with, because he's probably going to use your damn tools and see how much he could steal, because you probably don't track them, because you trusted everyone. I went home and broke the news to my family and started my search for a job. I was laid off on a Monday, so Wednesday, I picked up a trailer for my dad and went to get my tools. I stepped into my old workspace to find a member of the Interlock Company training someone on how the interlocks work and how to install and work with them. Fishy. I got a moment with the Interlock employee and asked him, "What's up?" He said the owner laid us off and replaced us both with a single person. I went about my business, loaded my stuff, and then went to collect my final check. I stewed over it the entire time I was loading my stuff. Surprisingly, a new guy came over to see what I was doing. We talked about the job and the installs. Then an idea popped into my head. Nonchalantly, I asked the guy what he had been hired at, wage-wise. I want surprise to find that he'd been hired at a significantly lower hourly wage than me. I had been making $7 to $8 more, if memory serves. When I found out, I made sure to let him know and told him personally he'd be insane to do the job he'd been hired at. In other words, let's pretend this guy got hired at $10 an hour. The this guy, the OP, was getting 17. Plus there was another dude. So the owner went like, wait a minute, I'm paying two dudes 17 bucks an hour. That's 35 plus bucks. I can do this guy here, this young, dumb, full of calm mug, and save money. Yeah, that's what's going on. I just hate when people lie like this. Just say, hey, I'm firing you for a cheaper dude. He looked extremely shocked when I told him my wage and excused himself. A few minutes later, as I was strapping down my toolbox, he came walking out, got in a car, and left. Right on his heels was the owner. He came absolutely unglued at me. I'd never seen such a string of profanity from an employer, ripping me apart verbally for making his new hire quit on the first day. This dude didn't make the new hire quit. You made him quit. When he realized he was effed over. Shit. Talk about some beach curls. I just laughed, said gee. I guess my work here is done. I got in my truck and drove away. A few days later, I called the Interlock representative and asked him to keep me in the loop as to whether they ever get anyone to replace us. It took them almost 6 months to find a new install tech. Very satisfying. Too lazy, didn't read, TLDR. Got laid off, found out I was being replaced at a lower wage, and sabotaged my replacement. Let's read a couple of comments. Your employer was a slimeball and a scumbag. Good for you for getting revenge. This was the cherry on top of almost 2 years of time with that company. I ignored a lot of twisted red flags. No, ignored a lot of red flags. OP, you didn't sabotage your replacement. You helped him avoid a jackass. That was a virtuous revenge. Yes, it was. So you got virtue. I think about everybody do this. You know, a lot of employers don't have some policy, even though some states there's a law that you can't do this, where they say you can't tell other people your wages. You know why they do that? It's obvious. They don't want people to know they've been screwed over. They don't want this woman over here to know she's making, 60% of what this dude's making over here. Why? Because she may leave and they need her to work. She may be the hardest worker in there, but they're fucking her over because they can. And if they encourage you not to reveal your salary, yeah. But, see, here's the thing. The boss in this case, he was just doing what business people do. I can't fault him for that. The only thing I can fault him for is lying, saying that he lost the contract and that's the reason this guy was being let go. No, this reminds me of Circuit City. Anybody remember that shit, Circuit City? Circuit City did the stupidest thing in the world. They said, you know what, we're going to save money. We're going to take our highest paid employees and we're going to fire them all. So who are the highest paid employees? The people with experience, the people who knew what the hell they were doing. So they fired them all so they could just have low wage employees. Okay, here's the result. Do you see a Circuit City? No, because the people who were left didn't know shit. They didn't have anybody to train them, so they wouldn't be shit. On top of that, they realized that if they got a raise, they were going to be fired. So they didn't do shit. You have to think out your business plans. We try to cheap shit out. So anyway, I'm done with this one for the day. Hope you enjoyed this Reddit read. Hopefully I get a little bit better at this. Like I said, I'm not going to try to create a channel. I'm just going to read them on here on days I don't have too much to talk about. And, like start off with some value add like this. Hopefully tomorrow I can show you it working. And you get to see me fool around on the damn thing. Because you saw me when I did, well, that was the video that got really fucked up. Where the the battery ran out. And I didn't get, and I did that just absolutely beautiful unboxing and assembly of the Hig VR M4 rifle for VR. Yeah. So now that I got all this shit, I can, maybe go and play a little bit, have a little fun, because I ain't gonna lie. I don't have much fun in my life anymore. All I do is work and sit around. And I work to keep myself busy, but when I should be investing in playing games all day long, maybe some Call of Duty or some shit, But, hey, it is what it is. See y'all.